So today I'm in my kitchen. So as many of you know, we are moving, packing everything up. But there's one space here that I really wanted to share with you guys before saying goodbye, and that is the kitchen. We renovated this place a couple of years ago, and it is really one of my favorite spaces in the house, and I think it turned out really great. Kitchen renovations can often be very expensive and cost a lot, and if you hire someone else to do all that, it's gonna cost you a lot more money because a lot of that is labor that you're paying for. So just by doing all this cosmetic stuff yourself, you can save a lot of money and really get something very nice. So we bought this house a couple of years ago. Now this house was built in the 40s, and the kitchen was definitely a reflection of that. It was a green linoleum dream in here. It really felt quite old. This is a pretty small space. It's only about 90 square feet, and it wasn't on the table to actually take down any walls or do anything structural to make the space larger. So the goal with this renovation was just to make it as bright and as inviting as possible. So this is what we did. These cabinets are all solid wood. So all I did here was to refinish and give these a new fresh coat of paint, as well as update the hardware. And updating the hardware makes such a huge difference. Found these nickel or brushed stainless steel, I don't know, poles and knobs. Now when it came to the countertop, let me show you guys here. So this had linoleum counters. And first of all, I was thinking about doing a butcher block counter, and this was before I was doing any woodworking. So I was looking into the IKEA wooden counters, but then it turned out they didn't have that in stock at my local IKEA. So I was thinking about a couple of different options. First thinking stone, but then kind of got settled on the idea of stainless steel. So first I got some quotes. I got a quote from Home Depot. They quoted me $150 a square foot, which even for such a small counter would be a lot of money. So instead what we did was to make a model of the counter using plywood, and then cutting a hole for the sink, and then taking that to our local sheet metal place. And they added stainless steel around the plywood, and they charged $400 for that. Added this nice lip here, and that was just a great solution. Then just attached everything with liquid nails and clamped it down, put it on top of the counters, and just secured it that way, and they have been perfect. Then we simply got a overmount sink that was just placed on top of here and connected everything. Now, if I get a chance to remodel another kitchen, I would definitely do this again. Maybe in contrast with like a butcher block island or something. Now, stainless steel I think is great because it's so durable and practical. You can put hot things on it, it doesn't crack, you can easily wash it, and it just has a really kind of cool look. So for the walls, I really wanted to use subway tile. And subway tile I think is great because first of all, I just love the look of it. It is also budget friendly. We didn't want to spend too much money on this whole renovation. And I think it just adds such a clean look. Now I was really picturing using this kitchen for real. You're cooking, you're getting sauce everywhere. So I wanted to put tile all the way up to the ceiling, like more of a restaurant feel. So that's what we did, just tiled everywhere around. So this was linoleum floors, and I really liked the idea of a checkerboard, like one of these classic linoleum black and white tile checkerboard floors. But it turns out that linoleum tiles are actually pretty expensive and pretty hard to get a hold of. So then I was thinking maybe I could replicate that look using granite and marble tiles instead. The tricky thing about that though is that I didn't want to get polished stone. I wanted to get honed marble and granite. Now Home Depot actually sold honed marble, so I ordered that, but they only sold polished granite. So first I was debating about actually honing the polished granite myself by using like a blowtorch or sanding, but then we actually ended up ordering the honed granite from a local tile shop, which turned out fine. Now these tiles are in a diagonal pattern just to make the space feel a little bit larger and not just squarish. And I remember it was a little bit tricky putting it down because I wanted the grout line to be 1/16 of an inch, but then sometimes when you're going down a line, you know, if you get a little bit off, it expands. I remember it was really tricky getting that just perfect. So the grout lines are more like 1/16 up to like 1/8 of an inch. So there's a little bit of variation, but not much. I mean, they turned out absolutely gorgeous. However, after living with this for a couple of years now, I love pretty much everything about this kitchen, but if it's one thing that I don't think I would do again, it's these floors, because first of all, they're actually kind of hard to stand on for an extended period of time. That's why I have this rug here, because when you're cooking for hours, sometimes they feel quite hard. Not to mention in the winter, they're kind of cold. So it's just a little bit of a cold, hard surface to spend a lot of time on. I think I would really like to use like cork or wood for another remodel. So in terms of cost, we actually did really well in terms of a budget. I wrote down everything that we were doing and I was just looking those numbers over. And this whole remodel, not counting appliances, came in just about $3,000. This is a good thing to remember, that you can do a lot with not too much, because I mean, kitchen renovations can often be very expensive and cost a lot, and if you hire someone else to do all that, it's going to cost you a lot more money, because a lot of that is labor that you're paying for. So when we first moved in here, they had the fridge unit over here, blocking part of the window, and the stove was over here. And I just thought that was kind of silly, because first of all, you have this really small space and then you're blocking all this light. So I wanted to put the stove here. Now the other thing that I've been wanting to get to for some time, but never actually got to, is to utilize the space here where the fridge currently is. And what I wanted to do was to get a new like unit, a fridge freezer unit in one, and put that in the utility room, and then make a little wooden counter for this space here with some stools. That way you could like sit down there while somebody else is cooking here, because since this is such a small space, it's really perfect for one person, but not for two. So when you're standing here cooking, you don't have access to anybody else. So I thought it would be really nice if somebody could sit down with you, and it would be a little bit more open and feel a little bit bigger. Along those same lines, the other thing that I really wanted to do was to cut a window in this wall here into the dining room, and then make like a nice windowsill in between where you could put a few things. That way you could kind of look into the other room, but I never got to that either. And the other thing I wanted to do was to put in a nice range hood up here. So we haven't had an exhaust like fan here, which is actually quite common among many of these older houses. Just open up the window. But I really wanted to put in a nice hood, drill a hole right outside, and then vent it right out there. So that would have been cool. As well as a small dishwasher, which doesn't have a dishwasher, as well as a garbage disposal, which I never got to either. So those are some things that I would have liked to improve on and add to over the years. Overall, I've been really happy with this renovation, and I really wouldn't do anything different, even though I probably wouldn't put the same floor down in a new space. But at the same time, I absolutely love it just because it is so gorgeous. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, please ask in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you guys for checking in, and I'll see you soon. Bye!